Your name and title, please.
I'm Dr. Nancy Shankle. I am Provost of the RELLIS Academic Alliance and Associate Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs for the A&M system.
So before we really dive into things, just how many floors and how much time would be required for you to give a full and proper elevator pitch about the Texas A&M University System's RELLIS Academic Alliance?
How much time I need?
Yeah. How tall does that building need to be for that elevator pitch?
Right. Well, I can do it in about a minute or two, but to really let you know what's going on, it takes about 20 minutes.
Oof, that's what I thought. Well, we're going to dive into it.
Okay.
Welcome to Brazos Matters. I'm Jay Sokol. I get to visit today with Dr. Nancy Shankle, Associate Vice Chancellor and Provost of the Texas A&M University System's RELLIS Academic Alliance. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So I'm going to do a long wind-up here, so just sit tight and bear with me when I do that. From your LinkedIn profile, I'm not sure I've met many people who have logged such an interesting variety of positions and experiences. So here's some of what I found. 2 degrees from Texas A&M University Commerce, a PhD in English from Texas A&M College Station. You've been a top administrator at Abilene Christian University, where you actually spent a very long time.
That's correct.
You were also at Texas A&M University Texarkana and at LSU Shreveport. And then I found things like you've published in the field of linguistics and something called grammar anxiety, which I have no idea how those words go together, and service on a national board for Commission on Accreditation for Marriage and Family Therapy Education. Now, I've left out a bunch of connective career tissue, but I am interested to hear how that journey prepared you for this current challenge. And I'm almost done here, but start here. There are plenty of people who live in this community who don't know or understand what is the RELLIS Academic Alliance all about.
All right. So the short answer for RELLIS Academic Alliance, we are an off-campus instructional site. Now, many universities have an off-campus site, often housed nearby a community college to help students transfer into universities. But we're really one-of-a-kind facility. We're technically a university system center. That's how we're named in the legislative act that made us possible, but we are highly integrated. Many of these off-campus sites are very siloed, so that you have one program with one partnership with the community college. But we're integrated. We have integrated curriculum, recruiting, advising. We have a common tuition structure, all designed for the benefit of the students. So we are a transfer site. Students come to the RELLIS Academic Alliance and take their lower division courses with Blinn with Blinn College District, and then they transfer to one of the 27 upper division degrees that we have to earn their bachelor's degree from one of 11 universities that we have there in the Alliance.
So you can actually go all the way through and obtain that degree at RELLIS.
2 degrees, 1 location. Earn your associate's degree from Blinn College District, and then your bachelor's degree from one of the universities that provides those degrees, that offers those degrees at RELLIS Academic Alliance.
So we have a common acquaintance who actually introduced us through email. And as I understand it, the coursework that she teaches here at RELLIS, she is actually teaching on behalf of Texas A&M University Commerce, I think.
No, it's Kingsville.
Kingsville. Thank you.
Yes.
So truly, these other A&M system components are represented out at the RELLIS campus.
That's correct. We have degree programs. Our common friend teaches in the psychology program that's offered by A&M Kingsville. A&M Kingsville also offers an agribusiness degree. We have business programs offered by A&M Corpus Christi, AACSB accredited programs. We have engineering degrees offered by Tarleton State and A&M Texarkana, biology, communication, criminal justice, social work. I won't try to name all 27,
Right.
but they're all offered by the universities that are in the A&M system. We have one independent university, Stephen F. Austin, is part of our alliance, and they offer the EC Early Childhood to 6th grade certification, the degree leading to certification for teaching fields.
I'm glad you brought that up. How did SFA get brought into this fold?
Well, they reached out to us and wanted to be part of RELLIS, and A&M System already has other kinds of partnerships with SFA, and of course, we've all heard the news that they may no longer be independent after this spring legislative session. And when that happens, they've been a very good partner to us, and then we'll just see what their future will be with us.
Right.
But they've been an excellent partner in working with the students and really helping to meet that need of getting more qualified teachers into our public schools.
Now, before you and I really started our official conversation today, we were talking a bit about the distinction between the RELLIS Academic Alliance and the broader RELLIS campus. Can you do that again officially and explain what the difference is?
Yes. The RELLIS campus is 2,300 acres altogether, and so it's a huge location. It began in World War II as the old Army Air Base, Bryan Air Base. And they have runways out there where during World War II they trained pilots for service. And it has a rich history there where pilots, some of our astronauts, Buzz Aldrin trained there. Then some of the women in the Air Corps in World War II trained there. And even some of the Tuskegee Airmen trained there. But after World War II, there's a little back. It was decommissioned, and some of it served as a housing site for some of the students coming back, the GIs coming back on the GI Bill. It was recommissioned in the Korean War, and then decommissioned for good and given to A&M in a 20-year lease, where for every year that A&M had research, testing, agencies going on out there, there would be they would forgive 5% of the cost of the base. After 20 years, A&M owned it. But until 2016, there was a lot of interesting research going on out there, but there wasn't much investment in the property. In many ways, it was still some of the old World War II era buildings and roads and infrastructure. And so since 2016, there's been an investment of just short of $1 billion in public and private money, state funding going into buildings out there. So across that 2,300 acres, there are agencies such as TEACS, Texas Transportation Institute is there, the Center for Infrastructure Renewal, many other agencies are there. Some public and private partnerships are there with testing facilities. There's drone research going on there. Just so many things going on across the 2,300 acres. But that is, on my spot of the RELLIS campus, we refer to the rest of RELLIS as Big RELLIS because that's the 2,300 acres. We're 70 acres. We are the RELLIS Academic Alliance, the partnership with Blinn College District. They have 2 buildings where they house their students and offer the lower division classes, and then we have 2 buildings to house our students and provide the junior and senior level courses for them. So Big RELLIS and then RELLIS Academic Alliance.
Go ahead, please.
We're a pretty big place just in our little 70 acres, but compared to what is going on across campus, we're just one small part of the wonderful work being done out there.
Is there room for you to grow? Are there plans for the
Yes.
Academic Alliance to grow?
Yes. We can currently serve up to about 2,000, maybe 2,500 students with our current facilities, but our master plan has 3 additional buildings. And then at some point in the future, there may even be either residence halls or some kind of housing that would be more of an apartment complex housing that would support both researchers that come in for short-term research projects as well as students. But for now, our students live like the majority of A&M students all around the city in apartment complexes, and we're connected with A&M shuttle bus service, so students, and of course students can park on campus too. One advantage that we do have is we have a very large parking lot that is usually no more than 75% full. So if you do want to buy a parking pass, you can find a spot out at RELLIS.
Parking.
And that's a big difference, I think, from the main campus.
Parking is precious.
Yes.
There's no doubt. Well, so you mentioned the history of that location as the Bryan Army Airfield. Back in the fall of 1947, my dad came to Texas A&M as a freshman, and he was housed there as part of the Corps of Cadets. And he talked about how it felt incredibly far away from the main campus in College Station. And even though our community has experienced enormous growth, the RELLIS campus is still somewhat remotely located from most other things. And you touched on this a little bit in terms of perhaps the future of housing and so forth. But what else do you believe is needed either on or near the campus to really make RELLIS even more attractive and functional?
Well, the challenges we have, the opportunities that we're facing, are pretty common to other campuses around the system that are sort of newer campuses. You mentioned that I previously served as at A&M Texarkana, and they have a new campus, and it was on the edge of town. And gradually, companies and real estate and things like that growing out to meet the needs, since that became a new center of economic development. Same thing, I think, is happening with A&M San Antonio. They're on the edge of town, but the town is growing. So eventually, I believe you will see restaurants and services like that, convenience stores, maybe more housing out in that area. I know housing prices have gone up all over town, but especially in that area of town, people recognize that that's a real growth area for our community. And it's not just the jobs that we provide with RELLIS Academic Alliance, but all of those agencies and industries are hiring people to work. So there are a lot of us making the drive every day to RELLIS Academic Alliance, to the RELLIS campus to work. And I think you'll eventually see that whole area grow.
I think you're right. If you just tuned in, I'm Jay Sokol. You're listening to Brazos Matters, and my guest is Dr. Nancy Shankle, the Associate Vice Chancellor and Provost of the Texas A&M University System RELLIS Academic Alliance. So A&M College Station has, I guess, more than 60,000 students now, and the A&M system has, 11 universities throughout throughout the state. And of course, Blinn College has a huge presence here and in Brenham and other communities. So taking a step backwards, why do you believe there was a need for the RELLIS Academic Alliance? And who does it really seem to be serving most?
Right. We are here to help support transfer students and remove some of the obstacles that transfer students face. But in another very real need, we're here to provide what is often considered to be a regional comprehensive university mission. Now, you've already mentioned I'm a graduate of A&M, so loved A&M, loved all of my time at A&M. But I will tell you from my personal experience, I'm a first-generation student, had the dream of going to college, but didn't have a clue how to even get started, even take that first step. So I ended up at one of our quality regional comprehensive universities, A&M Commerce, because it was close to my hometown of Mount Pleasant. And when I got there, there were good people there that just took me through the process and got me some financial aid and got me a scholarship and got me into classes and gave me the mentoring I needed and the smaller class sizes and all of those things that allowed me to flourish and earn my bachelor's and master's there, so that when I was ready to do my doctorate, I was ready for a big college experience, which when I was here, A&M was 40,000 students, and I didn't think it could get any bigger than that, but
Same.
it did.
Same.
And so that's the mission of a regional comprehensive university, to provide high-quality programs that really serve as much as 50, 60, 70% of a student body will come from a region of 70 miles or so from that campus. And I probably would, just being first generation, I don't know that I would have gone to a faraway school that A&M would have been at that time. If Commerce had not been there, I may not have finished my work, because many first-gen students feel somewhat place-bound, somewhat tied to their geographic location. Now, how does that affect us here? We have a Research One, a fabulous nationally, internationally ranked university right here in our backyard, but it serves the whole state. It serves the nation. It serves the whole world in providing quality research and programs, and its emphasis on graduate programs. And so what is sometimes overlooked is that we've got a lot of people within a 70-mile radius that are coming from small towns. They're coming from regions where they may not be ready for that big college experience. And so by having this alliance of the regional comprehensive universities in our system, offering those programs, we can offer an alternative to the big campus experience for those students. And many of them have done just that and have really thrived. One of our fabulous students last year is local. She grew up in Bryan and went to Bryan Collegiate High School, and like a lot of high school students, was more or less serious about her education. But when she graduated with her with her high school degree, she had a college degree with a GPA that did not allow her in acceptance into A&M. And for a while, she was just discouraged and didn't even go to college. And then somebody talked to her and said, hey, you ought to go to Blinn and see what you can do there. So she did. And while she was at Blinn, she made excellent grades, just a few years older and a little more serious and committed.
Right.
And then she met with one of our recruiters, and our recruiter said, hey, we have a spot for you in our business program. So she came on into our accounting program and finished her college career with a 3.8 GPA. And that was strong enough to get her accepted into Mays Business School for a graduate program.
Wow.
So she is one of our success stories. And as the advisor at the Mays College said to her, as she was working on her application, said, well, you may have started life with below a 2.0 GPA, but you're not that person anymore. You're certainly a quality 3.8 GPA kind of student, and you're ready for graduate work. So that's very much our student body, where we're wanting to offer an alternative to the big campus experience to those students in our region that need it.
That's a great story. And I sort of relate to that a lot. I kind of felt some of
a whole
her
lot
struggle.
of us can relate to that, can't we?
Yeah. As I like to tell people, I had a 3.9 after my first year, but the problem is that's combining my 2-semester GPAs. So in a state dominated by A&M, by University of Texas and Texas Tech, TCU, SMU, Baylor, and on, what have you found so far to be the most effective way of letting high schoolers and their families know that there is a RELLIS academic alliance and that it is an attractive option?
Okay. I want to address something you just said, and then I'll get back to your question.
Sure.
But you said, yes, the state is dominated by the large schools. But you also note from my LinkedIn profile that I've spent a lot of my time in the smaller universities because I believe in the mission of these universities.
Yes.
In the A&M system, A&M is certainly the flagship, has what is your enrollment up to now? 75,000 students?
It's big.
It's big. But in the A&M system, we have over 150,000 students altogether. So across all those regional comprehensive universities, Tarleton, West Texas A&M,
Yes.
all of those, A&M International, we are serving just as many students at the regional universities as A&M is at the flagship. So that just speaks to the point that some of our students thrive at the larger universities, but some of our students thrive at the smaller universities. So there's a place for both missions
For sure.
in our state. And now, as far as getting the word out, we work very closely in partnership with Blinn College. We also do the same kinds of recruiting that people at other regional comprehensive universities do, so that we go to transfer fairs in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, in the East Texas area, in the Houston area. So far, among our graduates, about 96% of our graduates have taken at least one class at Blinn College. About 80% of our students start and finish at Blinn. And so they're very much one of our big providers of students, and that's an important way we get our message out to them.
Yeah. So I like to say that A&M is the sun in this community's solar system, that everything and everyone is either part of it or feeds off of it in some way, and we all know that. So why should our residents, the people who live right here in this community and throughout Aggieland, why should they care about what's happening through the RELLIS Academic Alliance when, again, A&M seems to sort of dominate our landscape?
Right. In many ways, we see ourselves as a proving ground. I mean, the RELLIS campus does all kinds of testing there, and so we're just a testing ground, a proving ground for providing an affordable option for higher education. So in combining with the community college tuition rate plus our rate, students can get a bachelor's degree for about $31,000. And that's quite a bit more affordable than many other places around the state. We're the third most affordable in the state. So that gives you some of our price point. But it's not just the tuition that makes us more affordable. I mentioned that we're a transfer site. And we have worked very diligently to address some of the problems that so often plague transfer students. So, for example, they often have excess hours in their curriculum. That's because they're following one degree plan at the community college, and then when they end up at the university, they discover that they need to take another math or another history or another science class because they didn't take the right ones that were required for prerequisites at the university.
Right.
Now, we have a joint advising program, so students are advised by the same advisor from freshman year to senior to keep them on track. We also have done a very careful curriculum alignment so that if the students will just follow the advisor's recommendations, they will not end up with those excess hours. Statewide, transfer students have an average of 7 semester hours extra at the end of their year, at the end of their degree. And sometimes it can be as much as a delay of 2 years in graduation. Now, that's going to be excess hours leads to excess debt and excess time to completion. And we also know that while the majority of students who start at a community college want to transfer to a university, the ones that actually graduate from the university, there can be as much as a 19% gap in completion rates. So we're working to remove those obstacles, making college more affordable. Our students, once they start with us for the upper division, they're able to complete their bachelor's degree in 2.25 years, which is a very good average of completion for students. So we're getting students on out. We're getting them into work with less debt along the way.
Oh, that's excellent. Okay, so in about, I'd say 2 minutes, I want you to give me that final elevator pitch for the RELLIS Academic Alliance.
All right. So RELLIS Academic Alliance has fabulous professors, small class sizes, 17-to-1 is our student-to-teacher ratio. But we also have the dual admissions program. We never want to tell students to wait to come to RELLIS because that, as is common with transfer, you wait until you're ready to start your upper division courses. We want to get you admitted now, and then we will save your spot until you're ready to take upper division courses. That gets you a chance to work with our advisors, to meet your professors, to build that sense of belonging with your upper division folks. It locks in your tuition at a lower rate, and it gives you all the advantages of being in the college town that we are, including access to some amenities at A&M, such as eligibility to purchase sports passes or to go to the rec center. So all the things that make our town so fabulous, our students can go ahead and begin to enjoy even as freshmen.
And apparently you can find you a place to park.
And apparently you can park, absolutely.
If people want to get more information about RELLIS, where do they go?
They can contact me, go to the RELLIS webpage. Denitra Walker is our manager of enrollment services. She would love to talk to any of the folks out there.
I really appreciate you walking me through the RELLIS Academic Alliance. This has been incredibly insightful. Dr. Nancy Shankle, thank you very much for the talk.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Brazos Matters is a production of Aggieland's Public Radio, 90.9 KAMU FM, a member of Texas A&M University's Division of Marketing and Communications. Our show is engineered and edited by Matt Dittman. You can learn more about us by going online, kamu.tamu.edu/radio. And we thank you very much for listening to Brazos Matters. I'm Jay Sokol.